Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Alex, and I'm on the team for Vegetarian for Life. I'm one of the team as a chef. Now, today I'm going to do a little bit of cooking. I'm going to show you how to make three great, simple vegan dishes from our latest publication. But I also want to encourage you, if you are a member, brilliant, thank you. But check you're getting your publications. We've got loads of lovely information here, which I'm going to whiz through in a second. But today I particularly want to focus in on our latest publication. So I'm doing a bit of cooking, and I'm going to talk about some of the services that Vegetarian for Life provides over the next half an hour or so. So then, what I want to look at today particularly is this one. This is our latest publication. It's called Veganizing Classic Dishes. Now, there's loads of lovely recipes in here, and I'm going to show you how to make three of them. Now, there really are classic dishes in here. Nothing overly fancy. It's simple stuff. It's dishes that you're probably serving already. I'm sure you will be serving already, but not necessarily as vegan versions. So this guide, we brought it out to support people that cater for older vegetarians and vegans, so that you can have all those sort of, similar dishes and those classic dishes that everyone likes to enjoy. So I'm going to make a few of those. I'll come back to that in a second, but I also want to just show you some of our other publications. Now, as a member, okay, if you are a member, brilliant, thank you for being on board, that's great. And you may be an ordinary member, or you may be on a premium member, which is brilliant. But if you're not a member, I would encourage you to join as a standard membership. It's actually free. Really, you've got to sign up and meet a few standards, but it's free. And as a member, you'll get sent all of these publications automatically. So it's brilliant to do that. And if you're a premium membership, you get access to, free access to our training as well, our online training, unlimited online training for that. And you also get some free places as well on our bespoke courses, or courses that we would run in person as well. So it really is worth having a look at that. It's free as the ordinary membership, and there is a charge for the premium membership, but it's a one-off fee, but it really is not that expensive. Okay, so as a member, whichever you are, you will get our publications as soon as they are printed and sent out. So this is just a selection of the ones that we've got. So we've got food fortification for vegans. Okay, so if you're looking after someone, or you're catering for someone that's a vegan, and the diet needs to be fortified, then this is a really good place to start. So we've got some great tips in there, and some great recipes as well. So have a look at that. We've also got vegan baking. Over the past year or so, baking has been incredibly popular. There's some lovely recipes in here. One of my favourites. Oh, there we go. Sticky toffee pudding. I'm not making that one today, but it really is a lovely recipe. It's got walnuts in there and dates and sticky sauce on top. Lovely. But it also has a recipe, if I can find it. There we go. For a vegan lemon meringue pie. Now, it's another sort of a classic dish, which often you'd have egg on the top, egg white. But this uses the juice from a tin of chickpeas. So you drain the water out, you keep hold of it, use the chickpeas for a curry or hummus or something like that, and then you whip the water with sugar, and finally some xanthan gum as a stabilizer, and it will turn into a meringue. Okay, it's really worth having a go at that. So as a member, this will be sent to you automatically. So if you're a member and you think, oh, I don't remember seeing these, do check. So pop to the office, because they are sent out. Even if you've joined as a group, you will each address will get one. So if you've not seen them in the kitchen, they're not getting through, do have a look. Go to the office and have a look to see if they're being forwarded to you. Now, they're also available as PDFs online, so you can look at that as well. And if you want a paper copy, just give us a call, and we can sort one out for you. We've also got this one, which is nutrition for older vegetarians and vegans, which is BDA accredited. So we're really trying to cover all the bases to make sure that the people that you cater for and care for get lots of balanced diets, but also some lovely food as well. So that brings me on nicely to today, which is this one here. So this one was just out a couple of weeks ago, and it's got loads of classic, as the title says, classic vegan dishes. So we've got in here cottage pie, we've got a breakfast, a cooked breakfast with some homemade sausages. We've also got a biryani, we've got a hot pot, I'm going to show you how to make that in a second. We've got a moussaka, we've got a sort of a steak, steak-ish steamed pudding, really good. And we've got some vegan fish and chips. I'm going to show you how to make that. We've got a spinach pie. We've also got some lunch recipe and some burgers, stuffed mushrooms, and a meringue. There it is again, and chocolate cheesecake. These are all kind of things that you're serving. I'm sure that you will be serving them. And the great thing about this little booklet is it'll show you tips to create just one dish that everybody's going to enjoy, but it just happens to be vegan. Okay. And finally, in here, which I'm going to get to in a second, is the lemon drizzle cake. Wonderful classic cake. Definitely worth making. Definitely worth making. I'm going to show you how to make that now. So enough about that. All the information about the recipes and all the things that we do is on our website. So do point you in the direction of our website and have a look at that. We've got loads of great stuff on there. Okay, right, let's do some cooking. Okay, so the first dish I want to show you, excuse me for saying all that, is the hot pot. Now, it really is a simple dish. We've designed these so that you're not going to use something more expensive than in the other dishes, and it's ingredients that you're likely to have in. So in we go with a little bit of oil into the pot, and let's get our onions in there to begin with, and let those do their thing. Okay, so the other ingredients we've got here, we have carrots. It's a hot pot. It's all the stuff that you would have in a hot pot, we're going to have in here, but we're not going to put any meat in. What I'm going to put in here are some corn pieces. Now, you can get corn pieces, you get all sorts of different things now, but you can get them as vegan ones, which these ones are, or you can get them as vegetarian ones. So if you are catering for a vegan, do check that you get the right one. Now, many suppliers have separate lists. They're getting really good now, separate lists of vegan products. So if you've not looked at your suppliers' listings recently, do have a look at that. And all this stuff is available in all the supermarkets as well. So I've got some corn pieces there. We've also got some beans. Any beans are fine. Cannelloni beans are the ones that are in the recipe, but honestly, any beans too, and it adds a bit of extra nutrition and a bit of structure as well. Some garlic, some peas, some herbs, some stock. Now, one thing about the stock, let's just give this a bit of a stir. One thing about the stock is obviously it's going to be a vegetarian stock, but some vegetable stocks actually do have derivatives of milk. So if you're catering with someone who doesn't have any dairy in their diet, vegans, then do check on the label with that. So these little details, that go to make up, go to make the difference. And you'll also notice here that I have a jar of Visto. Now, despite all the sort of like advertising that it's meaty, it really isn't, and it never has been. It's totally vegan. There are other Bistos in their range that aren't, so do check. But this one here, the first one, the classic one, is in fact vegan. It's a great thing to have as a thickener for sauces and stews and stuff like that. But also, everyone will have it. Everyone's familiar with this brand, so you don't need to have that separate jug for veggie gravy. All the residents and the people you cater for can all have the same thing. It's nice sort of not to be separated out always. Okay, right, let's get back to this little hot pot. So we've got the onions, and they're just, you can see that they're just starting to get translucent, and there's a little bit of brown on there as well. So in we go with the carrots. Really is such an easy dish. In we go with the corn. Now, one thing about these meat analogues, or these sort of fake meats, not all vegetarians and vegans like them. So if you're veganizing a dish and you think, well, I just swap this stuff for the meat stuff and that's job done. Not all vegans like this sort of textured stuff. Depending on the reason why they gave up meat. So do ask the people that you cater for whether they do like these sorts of, because the range is just getting bigger and bigger. and each month there seems to be a new thing out on the market, but which is great. But if you're not into that, then obviously you don't want to have that. Okay, right, let's get the last of these things in here as well. So let's get our stock in. So our little veggie stock, in we go with that. Bring this up to some heat. There we go. A little bit of herbs in there, some mixed herbs, and our garlic and our beans. And also put a handful of peas in there. So the peas are kind of just adding a little bit of colour and protein in there as well, just kind of making it slightly sweeter. So all I'm going to do is, I'm not going to kind of make this fully in real time, but you kind of see the idea. So it's basically now we have got the hot pot, but we need to put some potatoes on the top. So all I'm going to do now, if it will quickly get warm, then I'm going to add some gravy granules just to thicken it up and just give it that extra bit of sort of saucy juiciness. So that's it, it's done. I'm going to put potatoes on, and I'll come back to those in a minute. But really, how easy is that? There's no particular skill in there. It's just making sure that you choose the right ingredients that are vegan and dishes that are popular, and it's dishes that everyone will enjoy. So if you've got a meaty one, then you can have the veggie one, and people aren't going to look different. It'll kind of be a little bit together. Okay, right, we'll leave that there. I'm going to put that into my little cooker over here, and I'm going to show you how to make that lovely cake. So let's pop that over there. Move this out of the way. Find some space. There we go. Okay, right. Our next dish is it's a really lovely dish. Lemon drizzle cake. Could not be a nicer dish. So what we've got here is, vegan margarine. Now, vegan margarine, you can find it in all the supermarkets these days. It's just getting more and more popular. So just have a look at that. So just give this a bit of a stir. Now, ordinarily, I get my blender with the two paddles, but it does make a bit of a racket. So I decided I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to do that today. It was a little bit noisy. So how do you make a cake? This is how you make a cake. No different, apart from I'm not going to use eggs. Okay, so in we go with our sugar. So that's some caster sugar. I'll just give that a bit of a mix to bring that together, and then we can pop in the rest of the ingredients. So this is a lemon drizzle cake. So over here I have got some soy milk. I've also got some almonds. Now the almonds, they kind of have two. This is sort of a twofold thing with the almonds. They add a little bit of nutrition, good nutrition to the cake. So obviously we're adding some protein in there, but it also adds a little bit of a structure to the cake, a bit of texture, and also a nice flavour as well. So you kind of get that sort of three-way win with that. Okay, right, that'll do. So I've got my nice mixture there. So in we go with our milk. Now don't worry if this splits slightly. When you bake it, it will all come together again, so I wouldn't worry too much on that. We've also got it's a lemon drizzle cake, so we need to make it lemony. I've also got some lemon zest. In we go with that, and a little bit of lemon juice, and also the almonds can go in. So that's the ground almonds. In we go with that, and the last thing to pop in. Let's give this a bit of a stir. Now I've got a tin already lined. You can see it's a little bit lumpy, but it won't matter when it's all combined together with the flour and it bakes. It will come out a treat. There we go, lovely. So the last thing to do is to put in our flour, and this is actually plain flour because the lift from this is coming from some baking powder and some bicarbonate of soda. So in we go with that. Give it a shake. Important to do so because what you can find, as I'm sure you know, is that you end up with little lumps at the bottom here of baking powder or bicarb or whichever it is, and it has a real bitter aftertaste, so it's not so pleasant. So it really is important to make sure you go to that extra bit of trouble to put it through the sieve. So let's just give this a bit of a mix. And I'm going to make a little icing for this to top it. A little secret between you and me. I actually baked one earlier because we're not going to wait for this to cook, are we? So we'll see that in just a second. So let's just give us a bit of a stir. And you end up with something like that. And I must say, when I was baking this morning, the smell in my kitchen at home was lovely. That sort of sugary, buttery, lemon flavour that you get. So there we have our easy batter mix. Okay, right, let's get rid of that. So I've got a tin here. If you want to do a slightly shallower one, of course you can. It will still work out. In we go to that. And then that will go into the oven, gas mark 4, for around about an hour. So it's a little bit longer than the average sponge cake, I guess. But it does take that amount of time to cook through properly. And of course you've got that usual testing system at the end when you put the a skewer in or something like that. It comes out, it needs a bit more cooking, and you just do so. So there we have really easy cake, and this is great for little buns as well. I've done them as individual buns, and that does work out really well too. Okay, right, that's it. How easy was that? So let's pop that into the oven. When it's done, it will look something like that. Okay, so we've got a lovely cake. We want to top that. So I've got a couple of ingredients. Find them. There we go. Over here. So what I want to do is just to create a little icing. Let's pop that there for the moment. I shall bring it up back in a moment. I get my pan up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of the icing sugar into my pan with most of the lemon juice and also the zest of a lemon. So this is all I want to do is just to warm that up a little bit, and then with the remaining icing sugar, just give this a stir with just to start with a very small amount of liquids. It's amazing how little you need for it to. There we go. How little you need to create a nice icing. If you put too much in, it just starts to get too thin. So at the moment, it just looks, really thick. But with another drip of juice, it should come round well. And then we have it. We're done. Wonderful. Okay, so that's it. That's done. How easy is that? So let's bring our cake back, and we can start to just decorate it. So we have our lovely warmed lemon juice with that little bit of sugar, and that just gets poured on like so. It'll just soak in and do its thing, and then we can just take our icing, just whichever way you want to do it. You want to do it drizzles like so, or you want to put it all over the top, whichever way you want to do it. But it really has that lovely zingy, sweet topping, almost like sherbet or something like that. Really, really nice lemon, that sort of lemon sherbet flavour. There we go. And that'll kind of do its own thing. There we go. Just start to spread that out like so. And you end up with a beautiful cake, which I'm going to enjoy shortly with a nice cup of tea. There we go. How's that? So there we have our easy to make lemon drizzle cake, nice and easy. Okay, so the last one I want to show you today, it's very brief today, is a version of fish and chips. Now, let me just bring my ingredients up. Now, this is quite interesting because you can buy these sorts of fake fish things more and more readily. So if you didn't want to go to the trouble of cooking it from scratch, then you can actually just buy them in. But if you wanted to create your own, it really is very, very, very easy. So if I just get that. So the first thing I want to do is to make a batter mix. So my batter mix is, there we go, I'm organised now, is a mix, 50-50 mix of plain flour and corn flour. So the corn flour is going to give that crunchiness to it. So here we go with that. Now to give the batter a little bit of colour and also flavour, I've got some salt, I've got some pepper, but I've also got some paprika. It's a paprika that's going to just kind of bring it all together. And then if you want to put some fizzy water in, put fizzy water, that's what I'm going to do. Or you could put in some ginger beer. It's nice with that, has that little bit of ginger flavour. Or of course you could put some real beer in. But do bear in mind, if you're catering to people that don't have alcohol, then you wouldn't be able to use that. Even the sort of the low alcohol ones or the zero alcohols ones, they still may have a little bit in. So it's important to make sure you don't use that. Now let's just give this a bit of a stir. I want to get this batter mix all fairly thick. So I actually need a little bit more liquid in there. Didn't want to measure this out because it will lose its fizz. So I've got it in a bottle. There we go. Let's just stir that together. So I would encourage you to have a go at some of these recipes, and if you haven't got the booklet, then do check down the office, as I was saying earlier. But if you can't find it, just give us a call and we can sort one out for you. Or alternatively, you can just have a look if they're online as a PDF, so you can have a look at them there. So you've now got a lovely batter mix just starting to come together nicely. So I want it to be fairly thick because then it'll coat the sort of fish bit that I'm going to make. Now the fish bit really is quite easy. You can, that noise, you can, switching off my little hot pot over there. You can use this stuff. And now this stuff is banana blossom, which I am starting to see more in standard chip shops and offered as a vegan alternative to fish. And it literally is what it says on the tin. It is the blossom from a banana. Okay, so you get that in a number of supermarkets. And when you bring it out of the tin, it does look a bit strange. It'll look like that. Okay. Now all this sort of this sort of leaf blossom thing here, you dip that in the batter and then deep fry it. Now what you can do, I'm actually going to do tofu today, so I'm going to move this out of the way. What you can do is to soak this in a little bit of water, but also with some this stuff. Okay, so this is going to give it that bit of sort of fish flavour. Now do be wary because, as I said earlier, not everyone likes that, sort of those fish or meat alternatives. So do ask the people that you cater for. But what I'm going to do this, I'm going to use this with some tofu. So this is going to act as the sort of skin, if you like. So if I just cut like that, and you can buy this is nori. You can get this in lots of different supermarkets. I pop that there. And that there. If I bring up my pan with the oil in, I can start that warming up while I'm chatting. concentrating now. Right, okay, so we've got our tofu. Now, if you've not used tofu before, it really is worth a try. It's in its plain, if you get a plain one, it really has very little flavour at all, and it's what you add to it that really gives it its flavour. You can buy it smoked, you can buy it pressed, you can buy it flavoured, but this is the plain one, and you can buy it pre-cooked, you can buy it, you know, in all sorts of different ways. But the one you want for this one is either a smoked one or a plain one. But it really is up to you. Play around with a number of different types and see if your residents enjoy them, and then you can sort of fix on the right one to do. But once you've bought it, it'll have a little bit of liquid around the outside, and you need to drain that off and just sort of pat it dry. So you end up with, you have something like that. So what I'm going to do is just slice off a piece like so. Okay, so this is the sort of the fish bit, if you like. So we've got our little skin, and that will just stick on there like so. Okay, we'll do another one like that. Of course, you can do sort of triangle shapes or whatever shapes you want, and then all we do is dip this into the batter and then deep fry it, and it'll just take about 3 or 4 minutes or so to cook. It really is quite a quick process doing it. You can cook them ahead of time, and then just sort of deep fry them again, and it'll just sort of freshen them up. But remember, cross-contamination, so you can't fry the fish stuff with this stuff. That won't work at all. So you have a separate little pan as I've got here. So all I'm going to do now, it's a bit messy, is just to dip this into the batter, and you can see hopefully it really is coating it well. Being mindful not to agitate the skin off from the nori. So we end up with something like that, and that just goes straight in, and that will just take about 5 minutes or so to cook. Let's get another one in. So it should come out nice and crispy, and the seaweed just gives it that little bit of kind of fish flavour. One more dip. There we go. And pop it into the batter. So I'm just going to move this. I'm going to rinse my hands so I don't end up with mess everywhere. There we go. So when it comes to serving our little fish, so we're kind of bringing it all together now. So I've got some peas, as you would do. It's all standard stuff. I've got some chips over here. Yeah, fish and chips. It's what, you know. It's a big tradition. There we go. And also I have some homemade tartar sauce. Now, I don't think you can buy vegan tartar sauce straight as it is, but it's simply vegan mayonnaise, and into that you stir a little bit of vinegar and some capers finely chopped up, and a little bit of tarragon. You know, and that's it. So we'll put a little dollop of that, like so. It's just these extra little bits that just go to make the difference. So let's just have a look at our little fish. I don't know if you can see that, but it's now got a golden colour. I can just see the seaweed underneath it, and it is, although difficult for me to show you, but it is getting nice and crispy. And that is pretty much done. Okay, so we can pop that on there. So we've got our lovely fish and chips. Really is very, very quick and easy to make. We'll just pop this to one side. Just a little bit of butter beeping. A little bit of lemon on the side. So you have there a classic dish. You know, the fish and chips. It's the experience that makes the difference. You know, people want to take part in it, even if they're vegetarian or vegan. It's nice to be part of that experience. And of course, it should be pretty tasty too. So we've got that. Let's put that to one side. So let's just finish off our nice. Flip that over. Our nice hot pot really is an easy thing to do. So you could do individual servings, or you could do a large one. I'm going to go for an individual one, so I'm going to put it in one of these pots. I've also made some pickled cabbage to go alongside that. It's the sort of thing that, you know, it's commonly served as part of a hot pot. So it's probably could do with a little bit more cooking, but you'll get the idea. So let's pop our hot pot in there, like so. Nice generous filling, and then we can pop on our potatoes. Now with the potatoes, just to speed things along, what I've done is I have actually just gently fried these. You can, of course, put them sort of bake it all in the oven if you want, but it does take a little while to do so. But by doing it this way, it just speeds things along. So let's move this one and this one out of the way, and we can start to bring it all together. A little bit of I do like pickled cabbage. I don't know whether it's just it's a northern thing. I don't know. So in we go with our homemade pickled cabbage on there, like so. So we have our dishes, simple, easy to make dishes. We have our lovely hot pot. Dead easy to make, as you saw. I mean, you know, perhaps take a little bit extra cooking than I've done today, but it's pretty much there. We've also got our lovely fish and chips, like so. So homemade chips as well, of course. We've got the tartar sauce, you know, just created, and also we've got our tofu fish. You might want to try it with a banana blossom as well. That's a good one to try, and they're not expensive. And finally, we have our nice lemon drizzle cake, and these are all from the guys Veganizing classic dishes, which it should be just underneath here if I can find it. There we are. So that's 3 dishes from our latest publication, Veganizing classic dishes. I hope you've enjoyed that and we find it interesting. There's lots of other recipes in here that you may want to have a go at. I would implore you to have a go at that, because they really are well tested, and it's dishes that you're already serving. So it's not that you're kind of creating something that's awkward or different. It's not going to be challenging. It's just the same hearty foods that you're probably been serving already. So if you're not a member, do join, and if you are a member, thank you for being on board, and do look out for the publications that come every quarter or thereabouts. Okay, my name's Alex. I'm going to have a nice cup of tea and a slice of cake. I hope you've enjoyed that today, and there'll be someone else from the team in about 4 weeks or so. Okay, take care. Bye bye. I'll see you next time.